Hey, welcome World Entertainment, and things are not looking good for Aquaman 2, The Lost Kingdom. The movie has just gone through yet more test screenings and has failed horribly in those test screenings. So much so that something that never occurs really with test screenings occurred this time around. People started to walk out. Oh dear. Now, it should be well documented that this movie has been struggling. It's been going through reshoot after reshoot after reshoot to the point that David Zaslav at Warner Brothers Discovery finally turned around and told them, you are no longer getting any more money to fix this thing, so work with what you got and try and make it watchable. Should be noted, after the first few screenings last year, let's not forget this movie is like 2 years behind its original release date. It tests lower than the Batgirl movie. So why did Batgirl get pulled and not this? One, this is going on the big screen. 2, more money was invested in this thing. And 3, they can't write it off as a tax write-off. So, what have we heard this time? Well, a few sources have come out and spoken about what they've been hearing and seeing about this new test screening. So there's one here that says, there's a reason I've been avoiding any questions about Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. But since viewer Aeon put it out there, it brings me no joy to back him up and tell you that the test screenings for this film have not been good. Really hoping James Wan fixes this movie before December. Now, viewer Aeon put out a message talking about the test screenings and that they were a disaster, and they seem to be able to back that up. So this next one came from Big Screen Leaks, who referenced that. Well, Jeff Snyder jumped in and said, I hear it's terrible, and that's why Momoa is going to be Lobo going forward, which I'll get to in a minute. But they can't say that yet, because then it would be a lame duck, and DC is hoping to wring another billion out of the box office. First one was awful too, so not a huge surprise. Jeff Snyder doesn't like anything anyway. Okay, number one, it's definitely nowhere near getting to $1 billion this time around. It's already a lame duck, because if everyone has seen the reports that Momoa is going to be Lobo moving forward, then people are going to go, well, what's the point seeing this then? The whole Henry Cavill situation and the whole reboot scenario, they're just going to reboot all the DC. It's already a lame duck. Why would you go and see it? And then, of course, the elephant in the room, which just got bigger with the new test screenings. That is, of course, one, Amber Heard, who is reported to now be in the movie for 20 minutes. In total, screen time, 20 minutes. And Peter Safran, the co-runner of DC alongside James Gunn, is the guy who backed her and is backing Ezra. So, let's get to the Lobo situation with this. Even this article here, Comic Book Movies, reads, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom has reportedly not gone over well in test screenings. Could this be why he's now in line to play Lobo? None of that makes any sense. There's people going, it makes perfect sense. How? When you're getting the guy who's leading a movie that in test screenings people were walking out of, he's your main attraction. He is the name on the poster, the face that's bringing you in. If you're saying, well, this movie is going to be an absolute disaster, here's what we'll do. We'll just give you another prime character to play. How does that make sense? Would you not be thinking, what is it about Aquaman 2 that people aren't enjoying? Is it just that the story is bad? Is it just Amber Heard being in it? Or is it Momoa himself? Or is it all the above? Is it he obviously didn't want to be there with Heard or whatever? You know, maybe he kind of phoned it in along with a terrible story. Maybe that's why he phoned it in. There's a number of scenarios to say why the movie is going to be garbage. But you have to keep in mind that he is the main attraction for a movie that looks destined to fail. Why then would you give him another prominent character? Would you not wait to see what the movie actually does, then kind of decide, should we keep him on? We'll make him a new character, but you know, is he gonna play it kind of the same way? Are you just gonna see basically Aquaman but looking like Lobo? You know, kind of the same scenario Chris Pratt had when he went from Guardians to Jurassic World, where people went, yeah, he was fine in the movie. The problem is he was just Star-Lord in Jurassic Park. Could that be the scenario with Momoa becoming Lobo? Could people just go, well, he's playing it the same way? You know, kind of the same attitude and the same mannerisms and stuff, just that he's now in different makeup, kind of. But the fact that this movie looks set to be an absolute disaster. Every test screening has been horrible for them. Has gone terribly. Again, it's scored at the very first screen tests back when it was testing lower than the Batgirl movie was testing. They just have more invested in this one, so they have to try and get it out there. But again, it just shows what kind of struggle they are going to have when you have a movie that Amber Heard's screen time has risen from 5 to 10 to now 20 minutes, while you also have to promote a movie like The Flash with Ezra Miller. Things aren't looking quite bright for the last run of the old regime's movies, but if James Gunn and Peter Safran, are looking to try and incorporate some of this into it, yeah, what's the point at this stage? And what a mess they are making. Bad test screenings, reward the actor with a new character. It's all getting very messy with this new DC. Anyway, that's the update for what's happening with Aquaman. Bring on December, I suppose. And with that, I'll leave it there for this one. Cheers. Catch you in the next one.